should be good. We're good. We're perfect. All right. We're back with another episode. Head over to www.johnbartoloshow.com. Go check out all the sponsors. I want to thank Full Quartz and Firearms, Right On Optics, Rhino Metals, Gallo Technologies, and Galco Leather Holsters. Appreciate everybody. Blackwater Ammunition, everyone. We've got a special guest today. He's back again. We're going to get an update on everything he's got going on. Some fun shit. He fucked me up the other day, but that's okay. Not mad about it. I'm not mad. If I was mad, there's nothing I could do about it anyway. But
you got all these guns back here, baby. There's plenty you could do about it.
We got the one and only Eryk Anders. What's going on, brother?
Man, doing awesome, man. Doing awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
I love having you. You're welcome anytime. I mean it. Fucking one of the toughest son of a bitches out there. I say it all the time. So what's new? What's going on with you, and what brings you back in town?
Well, I got a fight coming up Saturday. So
say what?
Yeah, So it's Tuesday, so we're just in the weight cutting process. And
do you go into like chill mode a little bit before though? Like, is it kind of like a little bit like a bodybuilding show, like a kind of like before you kind of just the weight cut and just mentally get your head right, get your game tight?
Yeah, that weight cut puts you in a dark place. Really depending on how how bad it gets. I have to go into a dark place because it sucks, and I'm one of the bigger middleweights, and I do everything right. Like, I diet, I run, I do everything that you're supposed to do to cut weight. But man, it's those last.
I love when fat guys talk about fucking dieting. Like, how dark of a place? Like, are you now? I know how it starts when you cut the sugars and everything else. Like early, I'm talking about early, because I know what it's like to be a resident fat guy and start the cut. But when you get deeper, you start to get the shakes and everything.
I don't get the shakes or anything like that. But there's stages. Because I'm a fat kid at heart.
I know. I feel you.
I eat burgers, pizza, beer, and candy, and that's probably 80% of my diet when I'm not fighting. Just because, it's like extreme with me. Like, I'm extremely a gross eater, a lot of grease and stuff. I eat until I hate myself, and then when I get a fight coming up, everything is green and healthy and all that other stuff. And then, my abs start to come back. I'm like, okay, all right, word. But
that's the motivation. Like, there's an initial motivation because you feel good. You know what I'm saying? You're like, and I look good too.
Yeah.
But then it gets weird. Like, you'll turn on yourself when you start really, really dieting. Those last 10 or 15 pounds are the worst.
Yeah, it's awful. And for me, like, the absolute worst is like the last, like 3 or 4 pounds, because it's like you're there, but you're not there, and keep going. But I don't want to do too much. So
you want to hit it just right.
Man, you have that conversation with yourself a lot of times. I sit in the tub and you can't move, and it's it's just not a fun experience. But people always ask me, do you like fighting at 205 or middleweight better? And for me, I like middleweight better because I have to do everything perfect, and the fight is always on my mind no matter what.
Now, Cody was telling me that, I don't know how, and Chiesa was telling me this, I don't know how true this is. Can you really gain like 20 pounds before the fight?
Oh yeah. What
the fuck do you eat?
A lot of water, a lot of and I've fucked up before, and eat like steak and meat and burgers and stuff, and once you've been dieting for a long time, and then you put all that stuff back in, it takes forever.
Sick,
yeah, it takes forever, man. You're sweating all night. You get the meat sweats and stuff. And dude, I've gotten up to like 225 before.
The meat sweats.
Yeah.
Only fat guys are talking like that. The meat sweats.
I tell you, that's where I'm at.
I feel you. 100%. I forget that, thinking about you and your career and where it was when we talked about this before. I mean, you were big, and then you take all that football weight off, like we talked about, that, that muscle that's kind of useless. It's not useless, but it doesn't have a place, right?
No, it is useless. My first sparring experience, my first time walking into an MMA gym, I was probably 245, 250 pounds, and it was Walt Harris's gym, who was also 260 plus pounds, but he's 6'4". So it looks a little bit different. It's a little more compact on me. And, dude, I couldn't bring my elbows together. So he was my first sparring match, too, the first day in the gym. And, dude, I couldn't block anything down the middle. I was just eating them all. Pow, pow. I looked like a peasant Spencer. And then, but, over the course of training, your body kind of gets rid of what it doesn't need. I think the body is very efficient like that. And so now, I can bring my elbows together.
You feel yourself like getting longer, and you just feel the ability to like you said, your body adapts a little bit to what it needs to be. And I feel like the biggest thing you learn is like head placement coming from football. Head placement is everything, because you're always thinking about being down in the bucket, and and then when you switch to jiu-jitsu, you have to learn jiu-jitsu head and like where your head goes. That's where wrestlers struggle the most with the transition, is where they put their heads.
Yeah, well, wrestling is it's like up and down
levels.
You're faking your shots and stuff. There's not a whole lot of this and swiveling and stuff. So I think like the wrestlers have a hard time, slipping shots.
They eat a lot of shit.
Yeah, but if they get underneath that shot, taking you for a ride,
It's funny. I mean, the weight cut, it's funny, two fat guys talking about the weight cut. Yeah. I mean, I'd never survive. I'd never make it. I got as low as, when I was at my leanest, I got down to like 215. And that was.
Where you walk around at?
Now, 230. But I used to be like you, like I was 255 all day.
Yeah.
So 230 to me, 220, I feel, you know what
good.
I mean? Light as a feather. I feel good. I'm always like 10 pounds away, and I'll eat what I want, but I'll eat like within reason. Like you won't see me go for those donuts, and anybody in here would tell you like I won't eat those. I don't go off the deep end, but I'll have one like on a Sunday as a treat. I'll still do something like that.
I'm head first, baby. I'll eat the whole box.
But the problem is I lose too much of my gas tank. After the Achilles, my goal was to get back to doing 5, 6, 7 rounds without having to take a break. Usually around that 5th round, I lose a lot. 6th round, 7th round, I'm useless, right? But when I had the Achilles, you lose a lot of your gas, and you have to come all the way. I was talking about this with Vinny. You lose a lot of it, and you just got to kind of battle back. Okay, I get to 3 rounds. Okay, I feel good. 4 rounds, 5 rounds. It's just, it's just gas tank. Because, I mean, you could be the biggest, like you could be Nicky Rodriguez. You could be the biggest son of a bitch out there. But if you don't have the gas tank, it doesn't matter. You know that.
Yeah, and grappling, the grappling gas tank is so much different than any other sport or what. Probably guess wrestling is the closest thing. But coming from football, you go for 8 seconds, then you have like 45 seconds rest. So it's like MMA, wrestling, man, you take 45 seconds off. It's usually because somebody's trying to help you up off the mat, and you're asking, "Did I win?" No,
hell no, hell no. And you gotta there's so much. You just gotta learn so much more technique and just everything else. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's more. I'm not doing it the way you're doing it. I mean, granted, you know what it's like in that gym that I'm in.
Sure.
Every day you're going against somebody that's somebody. There's no two ways around.
Andy Varilla kid.
Yeah.
Even
doing naked cartwheels past you.
Yeah, dude. Well, he controls you with just like a chin strap, and then he finds his choke from there, and I'm just like, damn, dude, you're just holding my chin with. And he's a little boy. I don't know what he walks around at, probably 150 pounds. Yeah. So super impressive the talent that's in that gym.
I tell people all the time, you have here probably Miami, New York, obviously with Henzo and the boys up there. Some of the girls too, but there's savages up there in Jersey, Tom DeBlas, that area. And then you got what you guys are doing in Georgia, the Georgia, Alabama area. Got some nice cut-ups. There's some good gyms there. But really, that's it. I mean, California's a whole different animal, in my opinion. You start going to Cali, it's kind of a different animal. I know some people make a thing about New Mexico and what they got going on down there, but I mean, really, the hotbeds are Vegas, Miami, I'd say New York. And there's a couple little pockets up and coming. But it's when you walk in that gym, any given open mat, it could be murderers row.
No telling. Yeah, especially because Coach Casey, he attracts the MMA guys too. So, you might be in there with Vinny and
any number of guys.
Yeah. Just anybody who's stopping in town, maybe they're cornering somebody else. So there's always somebody in there.
That's the fun thing about it. Like that was a tight group that Sunday, but it was a good group. Like everybody was solid. I mean, everybody was pretty good. I mean, I don't think there was only maybe a couple white belts in there, but I mean, everybody had at least a couple years experience, kind of knew what they were doing. Everybody was hammering,
and there were big guys too. For me,
everybody was big.
The biggest problem from gym to gym is, man, there's 100, 55ers, 70s, But once you hit that 85 and up type guys, man, there's just not. And some of the guys that are big, they're not very athletic or can't move very well, And
I think we counted, like at one point, I think there was like 5 black belts in there quietly, which was pretty funny, which was always a trip.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's always a trip. Now, Is this your first fight during COVID?
No, I fought in May.
May. So, yeah, well, you know, May just, well, was it February, March? It kind of really hit. Yeah,
but they canceled the show. We were supposed to fight in April, and then they canceled 3 shows, and then they rebooked them for May. And then they had like 3 shows in 2 weeks.
This one's here.
It's in Vegas, yeah.
Did you go to overseas for the other one? I forget.
It was in Jacksonville.
It was in Jacksonville.
Yeah, but I went to Abu Dhabi with Walt.
How was that?
I did not enjoy it at all.
Oh.
You know, but look, I don't mean to sound ungrateful because, man, it was a cool experience. You know, I've never been to the Middle East and Abu Dhabi and whatnot, but I didn't get to experience it. You know, when they first went over there, it was still kind of shut down to the public, so they had more freedom. You know, they were riding around in the Formula One cars and riding bikes on the Formula One.
See, I thought it was going to be totally different. I'll come out and say it. Like, I was hoping when he announced it, and this is me being selfish and being a fan, like I didn't really get into MMA till I really started doing this show because I was always just into jiu-jitsu, and they're 2 separate things.
Sure.
You know that. And I remember being like, I want to see like fucking alligator pits. I want to see flames. I want to see you jumping out of like a fucking swamp with
when they were talking
with
about
a crocodile strapped to your ass. Like, you know.
I was thinking like the Kumite, like blood sport. You know, you got to take a boat. You know, that's what I was thinking. But
take a boat.
You know, it was nice, dude. You know, we were in a super nice hotel, but you know, we probably had 100 yards of a man-made beach. You know, no waves, no current, no nothing. But then that was about it, because by the time we had got over there, it was the last fight. Abu Dhabi opened up to the public, so they were like, no, y'all can't do anything. So, you know.
Yeah, I wanted, like, you know, I just thought it would be a lot crazier. Like, maybe there'd be, like, you know, people, like, running around on fire, Bugattis, butt-naked chicks running around.
Yeah,
like, I thought it'd be, like, this crazy thing, the way they described it.
And it probably would have been if, you know, if COVID wasn't around. But, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to sound, like, ungrateful or anything, because it's an awesome opportunity to go. I like to travel.
I think we're dreaming a little too. You know?
Yeah.
We're like hoping.
So
crazy. Like they have that ring outside that everybody takes pictures with. You don't see it. Well, you do see it in the promo reels sometimes, but you see it in most of the fighters' stories and stuff. People go take pictures there. I was hoping there'd be like fights out there, like and then like with flames or something.
Well, you know, they fought in I think Poirier and Habib fought in Ferrari World. But man, it was like 125 degrees inside the arena. You know, I don't think there was any air conditioning or anything in there. So I was like, oof. At least we had AC. It was a cool 70. They built like this little tent that had all the, like these, you know, like office building cubicle things so that people could warm up and stuff. And then you walk out and, you know, it was nice setup. Man, you know, I'm really am grateful for the UFC to, you know, go through all those lengths and to make sure that, especially for the international fighters, because that's really why they did it.
They did a great job with the whole process, with everything, with dealing with COVID, keeping you guys working. I said it 100 times to other guests on, other guys and gals. They've done a great job just keeping you guys working.
Yeah.
And that's really the key.
You know, kudos to Dana White.
Of course,
for, you know.
Got to get that content. He's got to get that content.
Fuck the world. We're going to keep this shit going. So.
But he was smart. I mean, he kind of kept everybody, you know, you keep people working, people stay happy. That's the hard part.
Especially the fighters, because, you know, if you don't fight, you don't get paid. And there's not, you know, probably maybe the top 5% are making enough money through sponsorships and endorsements and stuff that they don't need to fight, and that's why they make so much money in one fight that they only need to fight once or twice a year, you know?
I mean, I know now, getting close with some of you, what some are pulling in, and yeah, you got to be shrewd. You got to negotiate. You got to some people might be drastically overpaid and some people might be drastically underpaid.
Well, like for me, I make my money off short notice fights. Okay, you want me to go fight Thiago? What kind of money you going to give me to do that? 6 days notice in Brazil, you got to come with some coin. You know what I'm saying?
Heavy.
You got to make it worth my while.
You got to come in heavy.
The
limo better show up. Yeah.
This motherfucker hits hard, dude. So, yeah, pay me. You know, make it worth it for me to do that.
That was an amazing fight, by the way.
I appreciate it. Man, you know, people always ask me what's my favorite fight, and that was my favorite fight because
showed how tough you really, you know.
Well, that motherfucker stood in the pocket, and you know we stood and banged and traded and win, lose or draw. Like I was having fun But, when I have to chase guys like Machida and Theodoro, man, those aren't fun fights for me.
I think I was in Montana and watched that fight. I mean, tough. I was like, wow, what the fuck, And I think anytime you get to do something like that, and you know what I'm talking about, even on the football field, like you get that game, that extra overtime or whatever, and the rain game, whatever it is like that, it's that extra, and you rise to the occasion, and you fuck, man, it's like you walk away and you feel good. You left it all out there and you feel good, and you're like, I might not have won this fight, but I won inside. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you leave.
I don't believe in moral victories because I truly thought that I was going to win that fight. When they said, I kind of made it sound like to them like it was a much bigger deal. Like, but, I just wanted my money, And it's okay, contract signed. Then I was like, I remember watching David Branch, and David Branch dropped him. And I was like, man, I know I hit harder than David Branch. And but what I didn't take into effect is that fight was at 85. This fight's at 205, so I think he's a little bit more durable. He didn't cut as much water, and he's more recovered and stuff. But it was my favorite fight. And then this fight that I'm fighting, I was on the island with Walt when they called me, so I took this fight on, just a little under 3 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
But once again, incentivize me.
Yeah. How much can you leverage that? Like, you feel like you can get a whole lot more, or do you feel like it's like you can get enough?
For Thiago, I doubled my money.
Yeah.
I got a new contract and doubled my money.
That definitely. But,
yeah.
I mean, something like this coming up, is it like, I mean.
The risk isn't as much. Like, man, we're fighting with 4-ounce gloves. Of course some shit can go wrong. But, and no disrespect to Antonio Arroyo, but he ain't Thiago Santos.
No.
He's not that. You just saw his fight with Glover this past weekend. And, dude, he almost flatlined that guy like 3 times.
That was a crazy fight.
Yeah.
You think he's done now?
Who?
Thiago?
Nah, man. He's lost to John Jones, and then Glover's he was number 4.
Yeah.
He's fighting. He's probably going to fight for the belt.
But he's older now, isn't he? I mean, he's at an age, he might step away. And I was thinking about that.
And he's coming off a knee injury. Nah, I think Thiago got a lot left in the tank. He's not out there getting throttled. He's not out there getting knocked out. Like, he's in the fight,
Yeah, I was just thinking about it because of his age and stage of the game. Like, does he want to step away? Is it time for him to maybe consider, like, is he getting to that? Maybe it's only a couple fights left, I don't know. Like, at what age do you start to want to pull the shoot, Everybody's different, I guess, right?
I think once you start getting knocked out,
that's a good point.
It's over with. But, man, if you're in every fight, he still has a chin. Glover was touching him too. Yeah, so it's not like Chuck Liddell, man, I did not want to see him fight Tito Ortiz that third time. I'm like, come on, man. You're 50 years old. Let it go,
It's you just summed it up perfectly, though. You hit the nail on the head. It's like once you start getting knocked out.
Yeah, once that chin is gone, it's over with, because especially in this sport, you have to be durable, especially if you're fighting at the top. In the UFC, you have to be durable. If you're out there getting, a stiff wind, wobbles you, then, it's time to go.
Who's now they were saying Khabib's done, right? That's the big. They say he retired, right? But what does retirement even mean now? When guys say, does it mean I'm done competing regularly? That's what I feel like it means now.
Yeah.
And maybe I come back for like that super mega fight. Like what?
There's always, everybody has a price. I don't care who you are. I don't care what everybody has a price. No. Here's boom, a bag
100
of money.
million bag of money.
Of course, easy. Yeah, cool.
50
right.
virgins.
I'll reconsider all that. Yeah. But for him, obviously he's still in great physical condition. He's probably, hasn't even lost a minute of a fight. Super dominant champion. But I think, with his dad passing, I think that his mental state might be, I don't want to say in jeopardy, but, he might not be the same mentally. And you have to be at a high level mentally and physically to do the sport.
And I think with him, too, the difference is, like, he can go back to his country. And he's like a fucking prince there, you know what I mean? It's like it's like Pacquiao. Pacquiao's like a god when he goes back to the field. Like they like carry him around on
so much so they're gonna elect him president.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. So I think he has it lined up where it's not so much like that he's made the money in the ring and all that. I think he's got other things waiting for him that he can slide right into there. I mean, I have no doubt like he could be sitting on a throne and be like the ruler of that country. Like there's no.
But I think he's a simple guy. Like he's not really looking on. He's got probably generational money at this point, and he can just go hang out in the mountains of Dagestan.
That's what I'm saying. And they'll take care of him. Like that country will take care of him because he's probably the best athlete to ever be from there.
Well, man, they got a pipeline now. There's quite a few of those Dagestani guys that are. I'm really sad that I really want to see that Islam Makhachev versus Dos Anjos. But
do you think it's more fun when they start to expand? Like through this COVID thing, everybody's getting shots, right? Everybody's getting called up. You see the fucking towel boy getting pulled into fight. I mean, seriously, and that's great. In many ways, that's great because now it's all left out on the mats. It's kind of like, okay, let's see who comes up, who rises up, and who can do what. But do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing long term once this all shakes out and COVID dissipates, or how does that play out?
I think when COVID goes away and everything's, they can kind of do what they want and travel and go in the UFC. I'm talking. I think they'll cut a lot of people, but at this point, right now is the time to make money, man. If you're available and can, do it, because once all this stuff shakes out, then they're gonna start weeding people out, I feel like.
Yeah, the same way you just said that is the same way, I'm not going to say his name, a very well-known UFC booker put it to me. He goes, now's a great time, for the guys to run around and make a few bucks if they're willing to, like you said, take it on short notice, hustle, put the time in. And not everybody can do that. Not every fighter is wired to do that, I don't think. At least I don't see it that way. But I see now just a huge opportunity for so many people. Like you see Chiesa sliding into the booth and doing more booth work. You see some of these guys, and I love that. Like I don't mind when they're grabbing guys off the scrap heap and throwing them in. I think that's a good opportunity. And then once it settles out, it'll clean itself up, and then you're able to start to say, okay, these people make sense here, and this makes sense, and not have every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the divisions and tighten it up a little bit. But I think there's a time and a place for that. Right now, he's going to get so much content out there, and it's just been fun to watch because it makes the prelim cards a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
because you're just kind of like, that guy's like from the gym down the street.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of cool.
They're harder to pick too.
Yeah, they're harder to pick, and it makes it interesting. So, it's going to be fun to. Like we said, I mean, Dana's done a fabulous job keeping everybody working. I think it's been fun to watch. I think the cards have been pretty interesting. He's been doing a good job shuffling them around. I think there's only been maybe one card that I was like, but he's been keeping everybody going. And I think it's it's an interesting time as we come out of this. And without getting into COVID, it's going to be. I think everybody's just happy for it to be 2021.
Yeah, but I don't think that 2021 changes everything. It's only like 2 months away, and.
We'll see.
Well, they just said they had like a 90% effective vaccine for.
Yeah, Pfizer. 90% effective. They just announced it. They have something like 40 million vials. They can 70 million vials. They can get out right away. I mean, listen. I don't want to. I know you don't want to. I don't want to get into COVID, but because we go down this route.
I'm not getting vaccinated.
But there's a lot of anti-vaxxers. I mean, that's not, and I don't blame you. I 100% don't blame you. Would I do it?
Like, I don't even get the flu shot, though.
I don't either.
Yeah,
So for me, would I get it? Probably not. But not because, I have this deep-rooted,
Yeah, me too. But, because everybody that I know who had it, especially now that it's mutated and gone through so many other immune systems, it's kind of weak now.
Yeah, it's super weak.
Yeah, so that people it's like, I had the sniffles and I felt like shit for a day.
I'm just sick of it being on the news.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it's died down obviously because of the election, but I'm just sick of seeing it there's 300,000 dead. It's fuck, we fought multiple wars the last few years. You don't see the death tolls on give me a break. At some point, I'm honestly just so sick of seeing the pussification of America and the whole thing. It's just become like a whole thing.
A lot of those numbers were skewed.
Of course they
are. Less than 1% of people are dying from actual COVID. So I'm like, if I got 99.9% chance.
And it's just they try to bang you over the head with that fear. That's what bothers me. It's like, don't go outside, put a mask on, wear a bubble. You know, oh, don't do this, don't do that. You know, if you step outside and you breathe something or the wrong person, you're going to die. Like, it's just.
Well, this is also the thing. You know, you go to a restaurant, you wear your mask walking in the door, you sit down at your table, you take out the mask. I walk 5 feet. What is, you know, I don't get it.
The whole thing's been politicized, and we can go down a rabbit hole all day long. But
sure.
It's just the radical. It's radical political correctness, right? It's like, how can we control? The more we can control, the more we can. You know, my whole thing to everybody is, anytime somebody takes control of something, anytime a government does, especially, they never give that control back. You never see them say, you know what, we don't need those guns anymore. You know, back. You know, you're never gonna see one person. What is it? Every gun store is sold out right now. You're never gonna see one gun owner be like, COVID's over. I don't really need those guns anymore. Let me just give them back. They don't get that, and that's what's so scary to me about the whole thing. It's like, what the fuck? But you know, I feel you. I'm more like, it's not so much going to a restaurant that bothers me. It's just, I'm more like, nobody questions it. Like, people just come out with these mandates and nobody questions it. Everybody's like, nah, it's cool. You know, what's next? Like, you got to walk around with no pants on?
Well,
like,
man, I just sit there and laugh. I'm just like, man, how silly is that I walk 5 feet from the door to the thing and all of a sudden it's okay for me to, but then you make a big deal about having the mask on. It's like,
someone's going to write a book one day, someone smarter than me, and they're going to break it all down, and you're going to find that probably 50% of the deaths are going to be associated, obviously, pre-existing conditions, shit that people already had, which is attributed to almost any other virus that's ever come down the pipe in history.
Sure.
And that's part of the problem and part of the issue I have. It's like, oh, they got eaten by a shark, COVID. You know, they got eaten by an alligator, COVID. You know, and people are going to get sick, and that's just the real reality. Like, now we're creeping into flu season. Everybody's getting the sniffles. Everybody's getting something. I mean, it's, bro, that's part of it. You know, it's like, so, you know, putting your kids in I've actually shifted. The kids should be homeschooled now, but like putting your kids in a bubble and like being like, oh, you can't do this, you can't touch Billy's toy. When we were kids, bro, like my mother lit me on fire. Like, you know what I mean?
I played in
dirt,
Chuck E. Cheese play balls with all the other kids snot
with pure AIDS on them. You know? It's
crazy.
just so crazy now. Like, now people running around with wet wipes and everybody's like, give me a break.
But you know, I truly believe that every generation is a little softer than the previous. Like, you know, your old man be like,
we sound old. We sound old now.
Well, I look at my kids, I'm like, dude, my son is 9 and he just got his first stitches like in his chin. I was like, dude, by 9 I was a vet in the game. I had stitches all over my face.
Got bottled in a bar room by 9.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what? Yeah. But you know, and then you look back, you see pictures of the dudes who built like the Empire State Building. They're sitting, you know,
smoking
200 feet in the air on a steel beam, eating lunch, no tie off, no nothing. But then, you know, OSHA now, you know, if you're over 3 feet off the ground, you got to be tied off. I was like, damn, dude, these motherfuckers were real back in the
magnet
day.
Boots.
Yeah.
It's crazy when we say that, because I do catch myself sometimes, like, even when I played football, I was the last high school year that had triple sessions. They were still allowed in the state of Massachusetts. You could still do triples.
See, I'm looking at you right now. I'm like, fuck. But they can't even have 2-a-days in college now.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's gone. I remember that went away. But triple sessions. And I remember, like, you saying every generation softer. That's one thing I always say, like, bro, when I played, we had triples.
Yeah. But I think because.
And I don't think it was a good thing.
Like, science comes out and says that, or, you know, some kind of, you know, report or something comes out that says, oh, concussions. And I get it. Like, cool. You know, I don't want my kid to play tackle football at 11 years old because, man, you're not going to make it to the NFL right now. Save your body. But, you know, it's a passion of his. So, okay, cool. Go ahead. You know, I'm not going to. I loved my high school coach, but we did a lot of dumb, like, we were part of that generation of, like, doing dumb shit. Like, no water breaks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember looking back and I'm like, this is so fucking dumb. Like, I used to always get in trouble or, like, yelled at. He's probably listening because we're still cool. But, like, he'll listen. He'll probably hear this. And I would say to his face, like, we did some dumbass shit, like bull in the ring. So, like, shit like that no one should be doing. Yeah, the first time I ever got knocked out, or the only 2 times I've ever been knocked out ever in my life, like unconscious, was in football. Doing that drill, I think it's the Oklahoma drill where like you're like 10 yards apart, you're on your back, you get up and you run and smash each other.
So stupid.
Yeah, that was like, but I look back at it now, I was like, what is the purpose of that drill?
I was
that
the
is
kid.
Never gonna happen.
I'm still the same way. I'm a nightmare to coach. And if Casey was listening, he'd laugh his balls. I'm a nightmare. Like I'm the guy you put in the corner, leave me alone. Like just let me do my thing. I'll figure it out. I'll get it right eventually. But if you bother me, like I start questioning everything. And I was the same way in football and baseball when I played. And I remember just being like, this is dumb shit. Like some of the shit we would do.
Also, you know, like when I got recruited to play at Bama, Schuler was the coach. And he had that old school, you know, we were out there doing Oklahoma
blood and
drill.
guts.
And, you know, people were getting fucked up in practice. And then you wonder why on Saturday everybody's limping and, you know, you're not making it to the game. Saban came in and flipped the script. We're not finna do all that contact. You guys need to be able to play on Saturday. So, like, Monday was like meeting, and then we go out there and run special teams. Tuesday, helmets, you know, full pads, but it's just stud. Like, we're not going to the ground. We're not doing these stupid-ass drills, you know. You have to have contact, you know, obviously, because it's football.
You got to feel it.
Yeah, but then practice gets lighter throughout the week. Man, when Schuler was there, dude, when I was a freshman, a redshirt freshman, and I wondered why none of the upperclassmen would ever do the drills. They would just send the freshmen to go do. And then I was like, damn, we're doing Oklahoma drills. This is an Oklahoma drill. I don't get it. Why are we doing this? Everybody here is a Division I athlete, knows how to tackle, knows how to break tackles. Like, god damn.
Yeah, I remember it all. When I got to UMass, it was totally different. It was night and day when Whipple was the coach. And I remember seeing that. But the whole feel of it was night and day. I mean, you know, no more pushing a sled in the snow and 85 fucking miles, you know, and it just sucked. But, yeah, I mean, you learn, I think our generation especially, you learn how important it is to take care of your body. Like, I feel like through our, like, last 15, 20 years, because we're in that similar age bracket where, like, the shit we did 15 years, we would never do today, like, to our bodies. Like, never. Because we've seen too much. And, like, we've lived through, like, not just that stuff, but like we saw the Corey Stringer, we saw all that stuff. So now we take a whole different approach. Like I'm with you. Like if I had kids, I would never have them play contact until later in life.
But man, my son, the oldest one, like he's built for that. You know, he likes it. He likes the contact. You know, he'll run downhill. But man, he got knocked out in the game, dude. He got cracked back, and I was like, listen, son, you know, this is when you find out if you really like football.
You gotta put your head on a swivel.
Yeah, because, you know, and man, dude, he played running back. He never came off the field, and I don't want him taking all those snaps. But I'm not a helicopter parent. Like, all right, dude, you want to go do it. You know, I try to tell you what's up, but whatever.
Yeah.
And, dude, man, he got blasted, too, right in front of me. Crack back. Bow. And, you know, totally back, you know, when I played, that was legal. You know, you get an attaboy, you know, the whole team like, oh, shit, you saw what he did. But now, you know, these are 11-year-old kids. Kid got ejected, 15-yard penalty. My son wanted to go back in the game. I was like, nah, it's over with. Give me that helmet.
Yeah, when we played, everything flew.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that was, like, frowned upon, I think you'd agree, was like if you went low on someone.
Yeah.
Like that was some lowbrow shit. Like if you went low on someone, like you cut them.
That's you know, but that's because like an ACL or an Achilles
injury. It was a respect
injury,
thing. It was
it's
more
over with. Your career is done. Now, like I tore my Achilles 9 months. I was back training. You know, I think I tore it in like July, and I fought that next February. So like. Medical technology has come such a long way. Like, if you get hurt, man, if you tear your ACL, you'll be back. You'll be back.
I tore my Achilles. The UFC staff had me back in the field in 6 hours. They're amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
It took a little longer, but yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot, and I think now the knowledge is out there a little bit more, where we understand our bodies and we take care of them more. And I disagree that, like, I don't necessarily think. You said this earlier, every generation gets softer. I think mentally they get softer.
Yeah.
I think it's the mental toughness. And that's what scares me the most. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like I think kids are tough today. I think tough people are born today. But I think today, if you're not careful, what happens is the kids grow up in the schoolyard where it's like, oh, like another kid will look at them and be like when I grew up, like I had friends, they'd look at me in the schoolyard, they'd be like, hey, fuck you. Like, and they were like 9 years old, like hard as shit. Yeah. And they'd be like, fuck you. And you don't ever see that shit today. Like, it's like, oh no, Billy ran his mouth to to Susie and we could have a meeting and there's going to be a principal.
You know, I always thought, and I still think today, like especially when boys, when they get older, fighting is a natural thing.
Of course it is.
Like, you know, you talk shit, wah, you know, you get into a fight and it's over with. I think fighting is a very primal and natural thing. And now, man, if I, you know, shoot you the bird, you know, you're going to tell
We need a lawyer and we need a meeting. And listen, I don't know what you think about this. I want to get your thoughts, but I think some shit has to be settled in the street.
Yeah, well, man, listen, I'm not saying like crack somebody with a beer bottle.
No, I'm saying, but like sometimes you got to have it out.
Yeah. Well, I think the social media and the internet has kind of made it like that. I can talk shit to you from 400 miles away. But dude, like you may see me someday and I'm not going to appreciate what you said.
We said that on a podcast just recently with a group of guys. I'm like, I'm going to see. Like, you know, you're going to run into somebody. But I think that has something to do with it. But I just believe, like, I'm wishing for shit that ain't never going to happen. But, I just wish, like, there was almost like a period between, like, 8th grade and, like, 12th grade. Like, maybe 11th grade. Where it's like, you didn't have to have 5 lawyers if you got in a fist fight in a schoolyard. Yeah, like it was kind of like it was dealt with internally.
Well, kids are getting expelled now, and they have to go to alternative schools. I'm just like, damn, over a fight, and they were fighting over nothing to begin with, you know, just on some bullshit. But I think, man, everybody that I knew growing up, including myself, like we fought all the time, and then whatever the issue was after, you know.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
Guys move on. Like I don't give a fuck. Like you know, but I grew up. So everybody always like brings up Boston because I grew up in Boston. So I always say the same thing. No matter what, you were going to get in a fight at some point, right? It's just the way it was growing up there because people see the movies and they think it's like the movie. It's not like movies, but it's a tough town. Like no matter what, you're going to get into some type of scrap with somebody. Somebody in Charlestown's going to hate someone in Southie, and someone in Southie's going to hate someone in Eastie, and someone in Revere, and it's just some shit's going to pop off at some level. And then if you creep up the North Shore to Danvers or Saugus, they're pussies. So there's something gonna happen there. That's actually where like the best judo schools are actually up that way. Yeah. So I think it's where Judo Kayla trains and a bunch of them. Yeah, Kayla Harrison and all them. But I think Rhonda used to train up there too. But that North Shore area is like a hotbed for judo. But something was always gonna pop off, and you dealt with it. And even like the biggest pussy in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
He still had like a scrap under his belt. He was still a one striper. Like he was all right. But I just don't get it, Eryk, now where it's like, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, we have to have a meeting with little Billy because, you know, he looked at Susie funny or, you know, he threw dirt in her face. Like when I grew up, like that meant you liked her or something. You know what I mean? Like we got to have this like big meeting, you know, and like he took his little G.I. Joe. Like it's like, I'm wasting an hour for this. Like we'll go buy another one. Like, I don't know. I think people should be nice. I think people should be kinder. I believe in all that. But I also think what you said, like there's a period where people just got to get it out. Yeah.
And we moved around a lot. So when I was a kid, and so fighting was just, no matter where I was at, maybe it's just me. I don't know. But everybody I knew, maybe the crowd I was hanging out with, but not even because like literally every guy got in a fight. We would like when we were in like 3rd or 4th grade, we would go to the bathroom and like, you know, duke it out.
The thing that was cool though, at least where I grew up, was you didn't have to win. We used to say what's called like you just got to take the beating. Yeah. Like sometimes you got to take the beating. You could be like the worst. Like I can't throw hands to save my life. You know that, and everybody knows that. Like Tony, all my friends know that. I can't throw hands to save my life, but I knew that there were just sometimes you had to take the beating.
Yeah, but you will.
But you do
and
it.
It's respectable.
And everybody after was like, okay, like he's, he didn't run, he didn't hide, he didn't. You got to take the beating.
You got fucked up, but
like the other day, I took the beating from you. I was just gonna take the beating.
Yeah, and it'll be okay, man. All that shit heals up, you know. And once again, like I'm not talking about like a bar fight, cracking somebody with a bottle or a pool stick or a cue ball or nothing like that. You don't like me. You have a problem with me. I have a problem with you. You know, what's up?
Now, have you watched any of the NFL this year?
A little bit. You know,
weird, right?
I'm a Raiders fan. I never had a team before, but like the Raiders, I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's because I'm here in Vegas a lot. It might be my squad now.
I thought you'd gravitate towards like Tampa or Jacksonville and like pick a Southern team down there, but all right, whatever.
Well, I was just watching like the Bama guys that I played with, but those guys are getting a little older. They're not, there's not a whole lot of them in the league anymore. So
I don't think anybody's left I play with. Jimmy Ahedebo was the last one. Jimmy was the last player in the NFL. I don't think anyone's left. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to get into the NFL this year. It's weird, right? It's just super weird. It's all fractured, and like some games are being moved around.
But I feel like the season was kind of rushed, and that's why you see all the injuries, because guys weren't in shape to have those ballistic movements and take those hits and stuff. So especially early on in the season, everybody was getting hurt.
And people could opt out. Some people opted out. You could opt out of the whole season. That was interesting.
I'm getting that check.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm getting that check.
I think that's kind of wild that some guys just. I think it was Patrick Chung did.
Dante
Hightower. I know on the Patriots a few guys did, but that was kind of wild to me.
But he just had a baby and all that, so I don't know what Patrick Chung's thing is, but Dante just had a baby, so I'm sure he, and
it's good for him. It'll heal up his body. It'll probably add more years to his career. It'll be good for him. I wish the Patriots would tank completely. I wish they would tank the season.
Oh, so they get that first pick. They
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Man,
I don't know. I haven't watched enough of them, but man, I've low key been a Cam Newton fan.
I liked him going to the Patriots. I liked that move. I just think for whatever reason, maybe it's the climate, everything is just not clicking 100%, and maybe. The reality is, like, everybody, remember when they signed him, everybody was like, oh, he was an MVP, and it's because he's black, it's because he's purple, it's because he's this. Listen, the guy just may have lost some of the spark he had, you know what I mean? Well, he might not be as sharp. I don't know.
I think his personality kind of pushes people away, He says some things, and, he just kind of seems nonchalant about stuff. And
he's a hell of an athlete.
Yeah, man. But I'll tell you, man, when I saw him play, because he came to Auburn the year after I left Bama, and I went back to the game, and I was on the sidelines. And, man, motherfuckers are always listed at 6'6", but they're never that.
Right.
What the program
I was like
says.
6 feet, 6'1".
Man, that dude is every bit of 6'5", 6'6", whatever that program height and weight says. Dude, he is a massive, massive guy, especially to play quarterback, So that guy could probably play tight end. He could probably play DN, linebacker.
Yeah, the biggest quarterback I saw was Leftwich.
Byron, yeah.
Like, I was like, wow, that's a big human.
Is he tall?
He's
kind of chubby, right?
Yeah, I would say this. I wouldn't say tall. Tall is like a big word, but I would say just enough that you were like
6'2",
like
6'3".
I'm saying at the 1AA level, you were like, damn, that's a big dude. Like that's a big dude at quarterback. Like you don't see that every single day. The year before I got to UMass, when they won the national championship in '98, they had a kid by the name of Todd Bankhead. He was a big kid. He was physical. They had Marcel Shipp. He was a big guy. He was a running back, though. But Byron Leftwich was probably one of the biggest quarterbacks I laid eyes on. But I remember seeing Sproles run. Okay. So let me tell you this, because we played Kent. So you see Sproles run.
He's still playing.
Bro, all I have to say is when he ran by you, you were like, that guy's playing on Sunday.
Yeah, dude.
There's no question.
There was a guy at Ole Miss named Dexter McCluster. Mm-hmm. He played for Kansas City for a while. Mm-hmm. He didn't even have a position. He was listed as an offensive weapon. Now, he wasn't a receiver. He wasn't a running back. He did everything on offense. Any way that they could get the ball to this guy,
offensive weapon,
they did it. And man, I played defense, and they threw a pick. And, man, I'm running down the field. I'm a 4'4" guy. Man, this motherfucker ran past me to go make that
like you weren't even there.
Dude, I was like, what? That dude is for real fast. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's funny. When you see that type of speed, you're always just like a little like, speed's a killer, man. You always want to get big and strong in the gym, but then when you see speed, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, no, that was next level. And, he's a little guy. But he's strong.
Sproles is little. Like, he's just low to the ground. It's like watching a blanket run down the field.
But he's pretty, well put together. You look at Dexter McCluster, he's lean, But this one particular play, I had to, just get him out of the seam, just push him. And when I went to push him, I was like, oh, shit, this, little homie kind of swole, he kind of strong, shit.
Yeah, oh, God. I think I'm back now. I'm going through the fucking time machine. That's crazy. I'm getting old. I'm losing my memory. But yeah, then after I left, it started becoming cool up there. They started playing like BC, and they started putting more stuff on their schedule. College football is weird this year. This isn't a good year to talk about college football. But as far as pro football goes, I think having the shorter, tighter season the way that they are without the preseason is going to make it interesting. It'll be fun. It throws some new teams in the mix, and I think whether or not it ends up being like, looks like the Jets are going to be god awful. They'll end up at the top with a pick. I think it's going to make
your squad.
No, I'm a Patriots fan, obviously, okay. But it makes the East interesting because now it looks like the Patriots will probably be low, the Jets will be low, so there'll be a lot of good picks coming out. And I mean, who knows? I think Brady ends up winning the Super Bowl. If not, it's
hell nah. Kansas City finna repeat.
The hard thing I have with Kansas City repeating is Patrick Mahomes going to have like another ungodly season down the stretch.
He's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not he can keep it up.
Backyard ball right now.
I don't know.
This motherfucker's catching balls in motion and coming back and throwing.
It's going to be hard. I think it's going to be harder this year because I think he's going to have to go through a tougher Pittsburgh. I think. I think just Roethlisberger, for whatever reasons, fired up right now. He sniffs it. You know what I mean? It's one of those years anybody can grab it.
Sure.
And I think he sniffs it. He knows Brady's not out there. Like that AFC East, there's blood in the water. That AFC, there's blood in the water right now. They know there's not a spoiler out there, so it's going to come down to Kansas City. It's going to come down to the Steelers. Maybe
Saints.
You have a Baltimore in there, trying to do something. But then you get to the NFC, and shit gets really weird.
Yeah.
Because you got – now that last night was a little fucked up because you got Tampa, you got New Orleans right in there, which both teams are dangerous regardless of what the score was last night. Brady will fix it, and that shit will work itself out. But that NFC – gets real interesting real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it's like he going to do it like no-brainer, but repeating's hard.
I think they're going to do it this year, man.
Repeating's hard.
It just looks almost too easy for them, man. They're putting up like 50 points a game, 40-something points a game.
Oh, yeah, he's playing catch right now, but whether or not he's going to be able to do that in December.
I think the healthiest team is going to win.
And then San Francisco's a weird wild card in there that could get hot. You don't know.
But they got too many injuries.
Too many
injuries.
And that kid's too pretty.
Garoppolo. Yeah.
He's too pretty. He's worried about his face. I don't know. The NFL's interesting this year. I like that they backed away from a lot of the political shit now, too. They kind of cooled a lot of that off, it seems.
Yeah, man. They're finding cats $600K for not wearing their mask. And I'm like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that is. But, I mean, I guess, he's always – the thing is with Goodell, though, he's always been consistent, like, ruling with an iron fist. So it doesn't matter if it's a mask or a jock strap. Like, he's hitting you. He's banging you over the head.
Sure.
So I'll give him that. You know what I mean? He's consistently a hard ass for that stuff. But, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think sports-wise, though, nobody's gotten it better than the UFC and what Dana's done in terms of all that stuff and just keeping working, just going forward. I thought the NBA was a fucking abomination this year. It was a joke.
They did what they could, and I think under any circumstances, LeBron was going to win this year anyways.
Yeah, it was kind of predestined. He was going to get it. I mean, I wanted to see the Celtics sneak up in there, but they were too small. They were trying to play small ball in there. And then you had the other team, who did they play? The Heat that got real hot. And they had that kid. Fuck, he was fire.
Hero?
Yeah.
Hero. Yeah, I saw a thing that, like, he's the first kid born in the 2000s.
It's crazy.
I was like, damn, dude.
He didn't miss. I don't think he missed in the last 2 games. I watched maybe 3 games in a row, and in 3 games, I don't think he missed a shot. I don't think he missed anything.
Yeah, he got hot in one of those games.
Yeah,
that's a super talented kid.
Yeah, it's weird. Everybody doing their own thing. Like they did that in the bubble. They did the whole bubble thing. And, the NFL's being real open about canceling and moving games, which they've been doing, and rescheduling. So, at least you guys stay consistent, which is better for you. I mean, fuck, man. It's crazy. I hope it all goes back to normal next year, though. I really do.
I would like, but, maybe this is the new normal.
Is it weird fighting without a crowd?
I prefer the crowd.
I was going to ask you that.
1,000 times over. I prefer the crowd.
Don't you think they should pump in some fake noise? I was saying that the other day. I'm like, they
kind
should
of like the NBA did with the digital fans and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be the same, dude.
But still, just like a little
yeah, it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be organic. But you know, watching fights, I kind of like watching fights with no crowd because you can hear all the.
It's like a comic book.
Yeah, you know.
I like that you can hear the corner.
Yeah,
but that's good and bad for you because you got to kind of keep it low because the other side can hear too.
Oh well, crowd or no crowd, you know that guy's
a
1.5 feet from my face, so of course he can hear what the other guy's saying.
Yeah, the corner. Does that help you? I can't ever figure out the corner thing in a fight. Like, do you actually absorb anything that's said in the corner? Or are you just like give me the water and fucking leave me alone?
I mean, yeah, you know, I like to. What are you seeing the other guy do? I don't like when the coach is telling me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, throw the left hand. Like, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know, but tell me, like, his hand's down or he's getting, you know, just tell me what that guy is doing, you know. Because I see him and what you see may not be the same, you know. So, you know, give me that. Tell me what he's doing. And then in the corner, it's just, you know, the same thing, you know. Maybe we reevaluate the game plan. This isn't working. That is working. You know, cool. But, you know, I just don't like when they tell me what I need to be doing.
Are you doing more with film than most fighters do because you're used to doing film work?
I
would think you would.
I do watch film.
Like pull up.
Just to get some intel. Like the coolest thing that Saban would do is we watch like their last 3 games and then a game from like 2 years ago or the previous season. And, you know, so that's kind of what I do. Like I'll try to watch like the last 2 or 3 fights and then an old fight and just see like how much that fighter has evolved, right? Because at this level, man, he fought this way this fight, but, you know, he's constantly evolving. He needs to be anyways. So now he's doing this.
Yeah, I would think you would watch more film being with your background, but I ask this all the time, and every guy approaches it different. Like some guys are like, yeah, we'll watch one fight, you know, to see, but, you know, it's also random.
I just want to see how they move and how they handle situations. Like, if I give him a lot of pressure, is he going to fold, or is he a dog? Is he going to fight back? You know. So I really, it's not really, when I watch, I'm like checking out their mannerisms and see what kind of fighter they are. You know, I want to see like a tough fight that they had, an easy fight, a back and forth fight. Because like I said, they're evolving, but who you are as a person deep down, your heart, it's not going to change. You're not going to be a pussy one day and then, you know, be tough as granite the next. If you're a pussy, you're a pussy. You may be able to like push that threshold a little bit.
Be a little bit of a pussy.
Yeah, you might be a little bit lesser of a pussy, but, you know, it's just not built that way.
Yeah. I like, you know, there's so much that I enjoy about seeing this sport and the way that they're doing the content and everything evolve, because I like the way they're bringing in like the the jiu-jitsu stuff, like the ESPN Plus stuff, and then they're bringing in like some of these super cards and some of the different things that they're doing. And I think for you, especially and for people that like want to be long for the game and want to do it for years to come, it makes for some interesting shit. And I even want to see it evolve into like what we're seeing with Tyson and Roy Jones, like some of the celebrity type stuff. Because now you see like these fucking YouTubers jumping in and like they're doing celebrity matches and stuff.
And getting paid more than the actual
yeah.
fighter.
So what I'm saying is I hope it keeps evolving, because I think that stuff's a good thing, because then when you transition out of the UFC, whenever that day comes, I want to see like a super fight. Like maybe you can go and fight like some YouTube celebrity or some bullshit.
Who's the Logan
Paul, yeah.
Yeah, we're the same weight class.
That's what I'm saying. But like to me that shit is fun, and I hope it keeps evolving to that point, and I hope they get all over that, because now they have, what is it, the Mountain is fighting the power lifter. He's fighting Bob Obrist or whatever it is.
Okay.
Or, yeah, they're fighting in a freaking boxing match, right? And then they're like building that card out, and they're getting like $1 million each to do that.
I want to know what bare knuckle is paying, because there's a lot of guys going from the UFC to And, you know, obviously not willingly.
The rumor was Tyson got offered a ton to go and do that.
I think, what did he say on Rogan? He got offered like $30 million or something.
Yeah, but
like
supposedly because he was worried they weren't going to be able to pay, he wanted half up front. That was the rumor. And they couldn't do it because he was worried the promotion was going to cave. Like they weren't going to be able to pay him.
Man, they seem to be thriving right now.
I don't know about 30 million thriving, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I can understand like his nerves about his reservations, but bare knuckles interesting. The thing is UFC is still young and it's in a very unique place where they have the best fighters. It's the most known promotion. So everybody wants to go there and claim their gold or take a run at the gold. But really, the smart play is the minute you claim it to like hang a right and you can go grab cash, or unless you catch fire in a way that we've seen with George, or we've seen with some of these other guys that obviously Connor and to an extent Amanda, what she's been able to do, and John, and they're able to make a big coin over a period of time, decent enough coin over a period of time, but. I mean, really, if you could fight Logan Paul tomorrow for $2 million, you'd jump all over it. I mean, peace. Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's the same thing like Hogan. Hogan said he got fired from the wrestling promo from, it wasn't WWE, he's like NWA or whatever he was in when he went and did Rocky 3. But he was like, I'm not going to turn down doing Rocky. You know what I mean? Like, what are you, out of your mind? But that's the opportunity. Like, you have to take, and the same thing happened with Jesse the Body when he did Predator. Something happened with him where he wasn't supposed to do it. He got cut by WWF and then came back.
That's cool. I'll just be, you know, a part of this, one of the greatest action movies.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, so the Predator for me is like,
that Van Damme was originally the Predator, right?
Yeah,
you know all that inside shit, right?
He kept passing out.
Yeah, the suit. And part of the problem was they wanted someone. So I know a lot about that movie because I watch a lot of YouTube. Yeah, I'm a geek. I watch a lot of YouTube, but
that's what it's for.
They wanted someone that. So Arnold had never been like lifted off the ground, like in that scene when they pick him up.
Yeah.
So they needed a find. So they found that guy that was 7 feet tall, the dude that played the Predator, because they needed someone that looked physically imposing next to Arnold, and that was really hard to do.
Man,
really tough to do.
Quick subject change, but man, like I said, Arnold is like I've never had like a hero, but if I did, it would be Arnold. And my wife, she was doing the fitness competitions for a while, and she competed at the Arnold Classic in Barcelona one year. And, you know, she's back there warming up. You know, I'm hungry. I'm like, baby, I'm going to go get something to eat, man, whatever. So I'm walking around, and, you know, it's like a big expo, you know.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And so I'm, like, walking around looking at stuff to eat and, you know, looking at all, like, the proteins and all the stuff they have to offer there. And all of a sudden, man, it was like someone started shooting in the building. All these people just started just running in one direction. I was like, I'm not going over there because I know something's popping off. And, man, I just watched this crowd of people just circle this arena. And, man, it was Arnold, man.
He's like the Pope.
Yeah, dude. But, man, he walked past me. I was like, oh, Arnold. Yeah. I tried to get a picture. I was like, fuck.
He's like the Pope.
But, dude, I touched him. Dude, that motherfucker is rock solid. Rock solid. I like touched his shoulder. I was like, holy shit.
I met him once, but I was same kind of situation as the Arnold here in Ohio. Same kind of thing. He goes to the booths and everything. Like he'll stop by. So like he had come by like early one morning, and the Arnold's a great. If no one's ever been, the Arnold's a great show. No matter where it is, a phenomenal show. They have like the powerlifting. They have everything. So if you ever get an opportunity, you guys listen.
They even do MMA.
They have everything. Taekwondo. They got it all. You got to go to that show, but. He does walk around, just like Eryk's saying, like he'll hit all the booths and he'll say hi to everybody. And if he does it early one day, there's not a lot of people on the floor. So sometimes you catch him and he's very gracious. Like he'll take pictures, everything else. But what's hilarious is he did it one time and he is like the Pope. Like the year that I met him, he had the cart because he had like some type of surgery or a knee surgery. His knee something was out on him. And he was going around, it was like the fucking Pope mobile. Like they just take him and like you're right. People like running behind like
dude,
just
it was wild. Yeah. And man, he had a security team.
Yeah,
I was sure I was for sure finna try and get, you know, my selfie with Arnold, but and then like 2 or 3 weeks later I see a video of a dude trying to drop kick him.
Yeah.
Like, he runs across
was that staged?
I don't think so, dude. He didn't move though. When that dude had a full start and a hug off the top rope. And Arnold just kinda
I thought that seemed to me like it was staged. I don't
think so?
I don't know why. I just feel like no one would do, like, you know what I mean? I feel like that was made for like a clip or something.
Why would you do that to Arnold?
I don't know. Well, obviously the kid was doing it for a clip, you know. I mean, he wasn't like intentionally trying to take him out.
He got his ass thrown out the back door.
Definitely, 100%. But whoever was up there filming it, like, that was obviously viral immediately. So that's what I'm saying.
I think it was like his homeboy was like, "Hey, check this out. I'm gonna go drop kick Arnold. Get your phone out."
I'll tell you the issue I have with it is anytime it's filmed, you know it's staged on some level. Like, so it's like somebody, like, why would you be filming him right then and there?
Yeah. Or maybe they were just like, "Oh my God, Arnold!"
It's too much coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like a perfect drop kick. Like, he straight up, he hit him so hard. Oh God, I remember that. That was fucking crazy. Yeah, the kid, did he hit him with 2 legs or 1?
I don't know.
It was like a Hadouken. Like, it was like both legs.
But I was like, "Damn, dude, Arnold, it's like the nicest dude ever."
Yeah, he's awesome. Minus the whole housekeeper thing. He's awesome.
He's a dude, and he's Arnold. You know.
The kid looks so much like him.
Oh yeah, no,
It
there's no
was
denying
terrifying.
that. I'm sure Maria Shriver was like,
Fuck.
It's like a little dark Arnold. What's going on here? Outside of that, you know, I really like his story. Like, he came over here, like he.
Oh, it's amazing.
You know, got elected to office, married to Kennedy, which is like America's family. I'm like, dude, you fucking. Salute.
Yeah, he was. Listen, he from probably 82. I'd say like 94, 5, 6. He was unstoppable. That's like a 12-year run. Like, every movie he touched was gold. Everywhere he walked, he got carried by doves. Like, it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was unstoppable. And like that 12, 15, like, as far as showbiz goes, like that transition time when he went from, because bodybuilding, people forget, right? Like, we know fitness like we know it now, and I know you do through your wife. That whole world, it was like, before pumping iron, it was, nobody knew about body. Like, it was like a closet thing, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't what it is now. But like, when he made it, he did a quantum leap in the whole game. So like, he took it from go look at that gym Lou Ferrigno was working out in pumping iron. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like your grandmother's basement.
Right.
And with the sand weights. And it's just, he took it and it was just like shot out of a cannon, and he was the star that propelled it. Louis was right there.
He had the personality.
Right, he had the personality.
The whole movie, he was just talking shit to.
Oh, yeah. And people don't, and this is what people don't realize. Yeah. At that level, like, we all talk shit. I mean, you have to be prepared to talk shit. Like, and they talk about that in Bigger, Faster, Stronger. Like, when you're up against the top 1% in anything, not so much maybe at an open map, but just when the egos start flying around and everything, you have to be ready. Like, everybody's going to talk shit.
Sure.
At those levels. It's just how it is. And the animosity, some people thrive on it. Like, people don't even understand, like, with Brady, like, when he's doing that whole aw shucks routine, like, that's his way of talking shit. Like, it's just like, it's how he does it. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, shucks. I don't know the rule. Like, you know, it's just... Believe me, that motherfucker knows where a kernel of corn is buried in his ass. Like, it's just, they know everything. It's just, but it's a psychological game too.
Absolutely. And that's what makes the 1%, because, listen, at this level, everybody's big, strong, and fast, has all the attributes, you know. But what are the intangibles? I think that's what makes a champion a champion.
And it's what it's the first thing I was ever told walking into a locker room. A coach said to me, he goes, look around. He goes, everybody here was somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what you got. That's what you got to get through your head. No matter what locker room you walk in, when you get to that level, everybody in that room is going to be somebody.
Yeah.
When
you all stay.
Like I'll never forget. I met the president a couple times. You go in that room. In my head, I said, John, remember, everybody in this room is somebody.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And you just have to know that anytime you're interacting with people, like, they're going to think they're king shit in their world. You're going to think you're king shit in your world. You got to kind of always check it and just kind of don't be afraid to say what's on your mind or talk shit or spit some knowledge, but at the same time be ready to back it up. And that's the beauty of that level that those guys were on at bodybuilding at that time. And it was so big in terms of it was ready to break out. Like, it was right on the edge of breaking out, which made it even more special. It was so close. Like, Arnold was doing Conan the next year. Like, it was, it was all fixing to, like, we'll never forget those names in that movie ever. And there's generations that won't. And I think, Louis going on and doing the Hulk, and it took the whole thing to that next level. And that was a special time. I don't know if they call it the golden silver era or whatever, but now you go to these shows and they're huge because of those guys.
Right.
They built it.
Yeah. Who's the Heath, whatever his name is? Those guys are making $1 million for winning.
Phil.
Phil Heath, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are making big money for winning these competitions.
Yeah, I mean, now they get, it's come down a little bit to reality, but like a few years ago, I mean, they would get like $400,000 for winning the Arnold, a Hummer, a watch, a fucking, a new house, whatever. They would get everything, and that's one show. And then what they do in their contracts is a lot of times they'll put matching prize money. So, like, if you win, you get matching money from the sponsor, you know what I mean? Because now they're promoting, like, an Arnold winner or a pro card level winner. The money's come down a little bit because the shows are getting harder to promote in everything because people want to sit home and stream and Twitch and do everything, like, on their phone. And you've been to those shows. I mean, all they're selling really in those booths.
Attendance is down?
It's not so much attendance is down. I think it's a harder sell to get people to spend more at the venue, which then causes you to lose booths. Like when you walk around those booths and you see those booths, like a lot of times they're selling shakers, they're selling candy bars, they're selling T-shirts. That's the hard thing with gun shows. What's the point of a gun show anymore?
Can't buy guns?
Well, the local ones, some of the local ones you can, but like a SHOT Show, you can't buy guns. So people just walk around, they just check the guns out. But like, is that really worth it to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a booth?
Yeah.
It's at fitness shows, all you can buy is T-shirts, candy bars, protein bars, and shaker bottles. I mean, it's hard to justify like, hey, come buy this, $20,000 booth. You'll sell enough T-shirts. Is it going to put your brand on the map? Imagine if you take that $50,000 and put it into like YouTube ads or something. You'll get way more out of it than you will selling T-shirts at the booth. So I think booths are a hard sell. The Arnold's a little different. He did a good job setting that up because he has so many other things there.
Sure, yeah.
That's what makes that show fun. But you've been to like local regional bodybuilding shows. I mean, a lot of them, they suck.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. I mean, they know it too. It's more for the competitors. I mean, that's what it's built for.
But so my wife, she kind of got out of it now because like she won one in New York, and so they paid for her to go to Latvia, which was cool because we like to travel and stuff. So we went.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
Yeah. So she went, and she was in phenomenal shape. I'm not being biased. Whenever all the girls walked out, I was like, she's in the top 2. All the other girls, like, they had, like, stretch marks and, looked like they just had a
bubblegum ass.
Yeah, and I'm not being critical, but I'm not a judge or anything, but I'm looking and I'm just like, okay, these girls are supposed to be in shape. Those girls aren't in shape. Those 2 are. So she's got to be in the top 2. Man, she got last place. And come to find out, the judges are also the coaches of these girls. So she was like, why am I putting it? Because, man, she is, the most disciplined person I've ever met in my life. So she goes through all this to, like, it is like cut weight and lift and do all this other stuff when you don't have any carbs and this, that, and the third. So why am I doing this and I'm not getting a fair shake?
Right.
I'm like, well, there's this thing called jiu-jitsu where you can go and they have a point system and it's laid out and everybody knows what it is. And, she's Brazilian, so I was like, so, man, you'll be on the A side every rep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about not getting awarded points,
right?
Because just off of that alone, that they're going to give you everything you're supposed to get. And, man, so I don't think she still works out and stuff, but I don't think she's going to compete in that anymore. Her first competition was Pans probably about a month or 2 ago, and, man, she got second in her first competition. And she was Ezekiel choking these girls, fucking them up.
She's got it made.
And she would have won because, man, she was just so hung up. Man, just like a rookie mistake. She was so hung up on the submission. She was down 2-4, and she was in quarter mount. And I'm like, man, just pass your foot to the other side, get your 4 points. You're up 6-2, and then you can try and choke her.
You get that tunnel vision. You only see the we always say you only see the choke. Like that's all you see.
Man, she's vicious. She be looking at the girls in their eyes if she's choking. I'm like, oh shit, I better be careful.
Fucking awesome. Is she how many years in is she training?
Bodybuilding?
No.
Jiu-jitsu? Oh, dude, she's not even a year.
Really?
Not even a year.
How many stripes?
I'm sure they gave her one for
2.
Placing second.
She gotta have 2 or 3. She's gonna rise up fast. She might excel.
Yeah.
How many days a week she training?
Every day.
Because you know what I'm saying, like the women, they rise up quick, like they get committed, like straight up.
Yeah.
They go hard, and a lot of times the women will get promoted and move up the ladder pretty quickly because they'll compete, they'll do everything else. Like I do wish I started 5 years earlier than I did. I know this sounds like corny as shit, but like if you saw me 10 years ago, But I'm getting to the end because I'm pushing 40 now, so it's.
But they have masters divisions and stuff, so you can like grapple dudes your
age and stage of the game. Yeah, you just feel like when you start losing a step and shit starts breaking on you, that's the worst feeling in the world. Like you just don't feel, competitive, and they forget that. Like I fight with Bo. Bo didn't believe how old I was. Like he did not believe me.
Yeah,
like,
you don't look for it.
Yeah, he didn't believe me. Like he was like, "No way, you're lying." I had to show him my license. I was like, and we've been friends for a while. And I'm like, "Are you out of your mind?"
Yeah.
But it's hard, like when you start doing that. But the women, they learn technique faster because they don't use power. They don't use as much power, so they learn good technique. We don't. It takes us a while to break that. Like,
Well, also guys have an ego, so they don't want to lose. So whenever you're like trying not to lose, you're doing whatever you can to win, and you're not learning the technique. So for her, she's cool like in the training session, but man, when she competes, dude, she's vicious.
Yeah, she'll move up quick especially if she's hitting pans already. I mean, it's crazy. I wish I started jiu-jitsu 5 years earlier than I did. That's all I can say. I wish, and I'm sure she'll say the same, and we'll all say the same thing. I mean, we all wish we probably started a little sooner because when you're younger, you're just so rubbery. You bounce back from everything. You can fall on your head like when you're a kid. Boom, you're fine. Straight. Like 7 stitches and some glue, you're good.
Yeah, and that is true, man. You kind of start realizing your own mortality.
100%.
The older you get, at least me, anyways. When I was a kid, I didn't think about consequence at all. Jump out of this tree, cool, word, out. Jump off the roof, no problem. Jump off the roof onto a trampoline and try and slam dunk a basketball, easy, no worries.
I need to be like carried to bed every night. I can barely function.
But man, I've broken my hand in fights. I've had several surgeries, so I'm just like, man,
Yeah,
kind of
you start thinking about it.
Yeah,
you start thinking, and not in a bad way. I mean, I think about 35, 34, you start to. I remember this. I was playing like in a baseball league, and I think I was about 34 or 35 years old, and I remember I just didn't have the power I once had. Like I started to lose like a lot of power for some reason, and I had to hit differently. And I remember just being like, "What's happened? I'm becoming mortal." Like I was falling. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And you start to lose a step, and you just feel slower. And I never like popped quads or anything. Like it just like never had those problems. It could be like the hottest of hot. So it sucks. Getting old's a shitty thing, but jiu-jitsu is fun in so many ways because once you do learn to calm the fuck down and learn technique, you could do it for a long time. You can do it for a long. You just have to learn to chill.
And with the right training partners too,
Yeah, you got to get away from. You can't be doing it in 10th Planet. No.
But there, people always lie in jiu-jitsu. Oh, my knee hurts.
Oh, that's my move.
Oh, I'm tired.
Listen, I'll own it.
And they're like,
bro, listen,
motherfucker, you just said you
straight
hurt.
up. You can ask anybody in that gym. That's my move.
Yeah,
I own that move.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who crawls across the mat, and I'm like,
a wounded.
Yeah, no, I fell down this weekend. I'm a little fucked up. Just go easy.
Yeah.
I'm rolling light today.
Roll light. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll light today. Hey, just go easy today. I'm just working some technique.
And just choke the fuck out.
And just all of a sudden, you just fucking hit somebody with a flamethrower. All right, listen. I know you got to get rolling. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, cool.
At it, so I know I'll get you out of here. Listen, you're always welcome on anytime. I love having you.
Man, appreciate it. Thank
you know that. Even if it's just rapping and catching up this way, it's amazing having you. I'm looking forward to the fight. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm happy you're here. When I saw you in Extreme a couple days ago, I was there with my homie. I saw you spar, and I was like, yeah, fucking Eryk's back in town. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank
you. It's always good seeing you, and it's always an easy conversation. I mean that. So
appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming in. And you're welcome anytime. And hopefully after this, we'll be having another good conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So let everybody know where the fight is, where they can find you and how they can follow along.
I'm fighting here in Vegas Saturday, the 14th at the Apex here. You guys can follow me on social media at Eryk Anders. It's all the same. Facebook,
Is it ESPN
Twitter.
Plus?
I believe so.
It's a Plus.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because it's college football season. So
it's on Plus.
I think they take presidents.
Yeah, and we'll put your link. We'll put everything down below. And obviously, there's no appearances and nothing. We got COVID, so then you'll be back home training, but in no time. But Vegas loves to have you while you're here.
Yeah. Vegas is a fun city, man.
It's the best. So I say it's funny hearing me say that because people would laugh because they know how much I love Boston. But if the food's good and the atmosphere is good, I'm all right.
Yeah.
And Vegas has at least a little mix of everything for you. And that's what I like. Like, you're never too far from something you like.
Right.
So you can always find it.
And it's a lot more culturally diverse. Than especially in I guess any gym, but at Extreme, man, you got Brazilians, Mexicans, Americans, Puerto Ricans.
You're used to a locker room. You like that.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Like, you like that. Like, because you just like having that different. Everybody has a different. I mean, my two best friends, one's black, one's Cuban. So I mean, I'm used to that, in so many ways. I think it's important to have a good community of people in Extreme, 10th Planet. Everybody has a good mix, and everybody's chill. There's not a lot of
high
assholes.
level too. There's some fucking, there's Francis is gonna fight for the belt soon. I think
he's a fucking savage.
Yeah,
bro. If there was ever a man I've seen hitting pads that I was like, God damn,
dude, I thank God I'm cutting weight.
He's terrifying
because I'll get
he's every bit of what you talk about. Cam Newton,
yeah,
he's every bit of what they list.
He's like a Khalil Mack. He kind of looks like
stupid.
Khalil Mack.
Like I saw him throwing kicks the other day. I swear to God, he was in one octagon. The leg went into the other octagon.
Dude, funny story about him. Thank God I'm cutting weight because I usually hit 230, 240. In between. So you'd be like, oh, you want to spar? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm fat. I don't want to do that. And but I'll do it. But the last time that I sparred him, I shot in on a single, and dude, I almost knocked myself out on his hip, and then he sprawled on me, and then probably about 4.5 minutes into the, for the next 4.5 minutes, he has fed me body shots, and he was like, oh, you thought that'd be easy. I was like, no, I didn't.
Just like that, too.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't think it would be easy at all, but that was the lesser of two evils for me,
I'll tell you the truest thing you ever heard. This is true. So when you go on a big mat for like a jiu-jitsu, for rolls, whatever, usually you go towards the big guy because how it's going to go. Either it's going to be rough, but they're going to lose their gas or whatever. You just got to weather the storm. He's like one of them few guys you run from that motherfucker. You'll take the big guy way on the other side of the mat because he's terrifying. I mean,
I'll grapple with him. He's not a spaz. He kind of knows what he's doing.
100%.
But at the same time, he's 6'5", 270, 275.
And that's what I was saying to you when you walked in. I love taking a beating from you guys, but I try to explain it to people. I'm like, their half speed is our 100.
Yeah.
So to get out of something, I gotta fucking lose my mind to get out of it. And if you're not a black belt and you don't have that level of technique, you got to rely on a little strength or a little something else. I mean,
he's a guy that you could probably go 100% strength wise,
and it's 25%
It's not gonna matter.
It's not gonna matter
at all.
He's a blanket.
It's not even like he's He is explosive, but when he's rolling, it's just kind of like, okay, now you're off of me.
He knows he doesn't. Yeah, he knows he doesn't need to be.
Yeah, but he can't help it. He can't help it, dude. When you're built like that, like you're saying, like in his head, he's going 25, 30%. But to somebody my size, I'm like, dude, you're lifting me in the air with your middle finger.
It's like everybody wants to, like they'll say, like, oh, yeah, I'm like, listen, Eryk's forearm throwing a shiver at me is like, it's not like a 160-pound guy doing it. You know what I mean? It's everything's big and you're gonna feel everything, and that's good. Like, I love a consistent roll, and I like the pressure, and I like someone that can bring a little bit of that dynamic. But people don't realize when you're dealing with high-level guys that actually have a lot of pro-level mat experience, there's things they're just going to do that are going to fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And that's just the real reality. And coming out of it is going to hurt to get out of it because you're going to have to give that extra. And whether you blow out a fucking hernia or whatever, it's not going to be easy. But that's you only know what you got till you get in there and do it. So
Sure.
I never shy. I love training with you. I love training with a lot of the guys for that reason. Like Cody Stamen's a lot of fun to go with. I love a lot of those guys. I love frustrating some of the smaller guys. I mean, that's the benefit of being a big guy is you can kind of keep them off of you if you know a little bit of what you're doing, even if they are really good.
Yeah, but like I said, the Andy Varilla, you know, there's nothing that you can do.
Yeah, but he's high. He's as high a high-level black belt as you see, you know, especially out here. I mean, true practitioner
sure
level, you know. I mean, Andy's right there with any black belt that you see in Vegas. I mean, he's that good. And he's a true practitioner, so it's his craft.
He does a good job of articulating the position, the drill, and everything that, you know, when he coaches class.
And he has just enough size that he's not truly a little guy either.
Yeah.
He's got some size on him because sometimes the little guys, you know, that's a whole nother world. Like they're doing naked cartwheels and they're doing, you know, this like a Joe Benavidez. You know what I mean? He's like fighting a towel, like he's jumping around and all of a sudden he chokes you and you can't see. But that's hard. It's like Yoda in a backpack. Love you, Joe.
Good analogy.
I love you, Joe. But yeah, we'll get out of here. We'll get you out of here. So listen, appreciate it. Appreciate you coming down. I want to thank all the sponsors, everybody. We'll put all Eryk's links down below. Head over to www.johnbartoloshow.com. Go check out all the sponsors. I'll put Eryk's links down below. Go check it out. He's fighting in 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Saturday?
The
Yeah.
fuck did I think 3 weeks? What's wrong with me? I gotta get off the drugs. Saturday. And you are how far down the card? Where are you, mid?
I think I'm the second fight on the main card.
Fuck yeah.
And the cool thing about Vegas is, man, that shit starts at 4. So, I mean, I'm probably going to be done by 5. I mean, you know.
Party. Butt naked on the strip.
That's right.
That's it.
Collect that bonus and.
Boom.
Yeah.
Let's go out.
Good night.
Let's go the win.
I think we're going to Circa.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah, come to Circa.
Thank you, everybody listening. Go leave reviews. I appreciate everyone's time. We're out.